Hello fellow human, welcome back to another r/ChoosingBeggar videos. Today, Dank Doggo has 9 stories for you guys. The first story is posted by u/virtualcry, entitled Friend Thinks He Owns My PlayStation. So this happened in 2016. I bought my PS4 in April and planned to play during the summer break. In August, when school was about to start, a friend of mine comes to my home and asks if he could borrow my PS4 for a week. He lives nearby and we knew each other for a long time, so I thought, why not? I wasn't going to be playing anyway. He comes to my home and takes my PS4. After 1 or 2 days, he comes to my home and asks for all of the games I have. I give the game to him. After that, he starts ignoring me. Even on text, it would take him a day or 2 to reply. So a week passes and I text him asking for my PS4 back and he leaves me on read. At this stage, I'm kinda pissed off at him. I decide to wait for 2 to 3 days, I don't remember the exact amount. I text him again and get the same response. I decide to go to his home. His mom answers the door. I ask her if he's home. He is. I go up to his room. As soon as he sees me, he kinda gets annoyed and says, "What do you want?" I replied in an annoyed tone that I want my console back. He replies back, "You'll get it back when I want to give it back." Now I'm furious. I go downstairs calmly and simply talk to his mother, telling her the situation. She says that I should wait till tomorrow so she can talk to him. The next day he comes back to my home and gives me everything back, except for the controller, saying that his brother broke it. I tell him to either get me a new one or pay for it. After like a month, he gets me a new controller. I think I dealt with the situation really well. Was I rude? He stopped meeting me afterwards. And no, a lot of people are telling me that I should have beat him. I couldn't really do that, as that could have made things worse. We were family friends. TLDR, friend borrows console, thinks he owns it, and doesn't return it. Mom gets involved and I get it back. Rude for wanting your own console back in which you have bought? Absolutely not! This story serves as a great lesson. Never let other people borrow your expensive stuff. You will be disappointed. We have here the second story written by u/thehorror. CB says I should pay for his expensive dinner. So, backstory. Me and my then buddy were backpack traveling, eating real cheap, and mostly I was cooking. We had this system of him paying once and I then the next and so on. So we're in Greece and go past this food place that looks really good and it had great ratings on TripAdvisor. But it was pretty expensive, especially on a backpacker's budget. I was gonna travel for 4 months and he was traveling for about 2. We were nearing the end of our shared trip. I was hesitant as I was traveling longer. But he wasn't taking no for an answer, so we go. I had a nice burger, the second cheapest main course, and he had a gigantic steak, the most expensive menu item. Food was really good, and then when the check arrives, he picks it up and looks at it. Says, "Phew, glad it's not my turn," and hands me the bill. I put the money for my food and stood up. When he stands up, I say, "You still have to pay for your food. I covered the tip though." He was furious with me, but before he said anything, I just kept walking and waited outside for him. After that, he being a tramp about it for the next couple of days until he left. I also stopped paying any of the meals and just paid for myself. I ended up traveling for 8 months as my traveling suddenly got a lot less tedious after he left. For your information, I should also add that my travels also got a whole hell lot cheaper after he left. Suddenly, I didn't have someone whining about an 8-hour bus instead of 6 hours trains, etc. What a cheapsake. That dude definitely planned that. Next up, we have the third story shared by u/lightning usagi. CB still concert seats, doesn't want to move because my daughter and I are fake geek girls. All the recent stories about people scooping up airline seats reminded me of something that happened last year. While I was thinking about it, I was kinda surprised that I haven't seen more stolen concert seats here, since it's a common practice for people to move up cheap seats at a concert right before the show starts. Last March, we had tickets to see video games live, a live concert of video game music, and general geeky mayhem. I had purchased tickets the week they went on sale, getting 2 seats in front row and 2 seats directly behind. 1 pair for my daughter and her boyfriend, and 1 for me and my bestie. About 1 month before the show, my daughter and her boyfriend broke up, and she drug her feet at finding someone else to go with her. At the day of the show, my friend got sick and couldn't make it. So we had an extra pair of tickets. Most of my friends were already going, but I eventually found 1 friend who was free and wanted to go. Since there were e-tickets, I needed to meet up with my friends at the entrance to get into the show, but something happened and he was late getting there. My daughter and I went in to get the seats, and I was waiting for my friend to text me that he was close so I could go and let him in. The show had just started and we went inside, so an usher leads us to our seats, and there was a guy sitting in one of the front row seats. He didn't want to move when we got there, even after we showed the usher our seat numbers and asked him to move. He fussed about us getting late there and that he's already comfortable. My daughter doesn't like to make a scene and start pulling me toward the second row seats, but I had paid for the front row and I wasn't giving them up. He proceeded to move to our seats in the second row. I wasn't too concerned since we had an extra seat, but was a little annoyed at him for just claiming it after we had said they were ours too. He grumbled a few minutes after moving, then had little comments about every piece of music played. Overall, a super nice guy. Sarcastic. I didn't find my friend until intermission. He had gotten there about 20 minutes after the show started, and one of the ushers let him in, probably one that we talked to as we were waiting on him. So he'd been sitting in the back. The CB had gotten up when the lights came on and my friend sat down. I told him about our seat stealer, and we both agreed it was fine for him to use the spare seat when he came back. When the show was about to start again, CB comes back and tells my friend that he was in his seat. I told him no. That was a seat that I had paid for, and he was my guest. Before I could say it was okay for him to use the other seat, CB stormed off to get an usher to try to get my friend to move. The usher comes back, confirms that they are my tickets, and tells him that he needs to move. And that's when he got really mad. CB starts complaining that he can't see from his seat and his seat is too small. They're all the same size. He was there first. My daughter and I probably don't even play video games and are fake geek girls, and so on and on. I wasn't going to offer him the other seat after that. The usher and people around us finally told him to move since the show was starting, but I could hear him mutter his way down the aisle. My daughter was totally mortified, but a few sets and Pokemon medley later and everything was great. It was an awesome show, and I highly recommend it to anyone who is a video game fan. TLDR, we had 4 tickets for a show, 3 of which are being used, but a friend was late. CB was in our first row seats when we got there, took one of our second row seats, then pitched a fit when the friend showed up and stole his seat. CB logic, I don't think they like the thing where this came from, therefore it should be mine. Moving on to the 4th story shared by u/1foot199. Dude tries to take disabled people's seats at Disney on Ice. This happened a couple years back. I work with developmentally disabled adults and bought something like 20 seats for Disney on Ice 1 year, basically an entire row. Get to our seats and this guy and his daughter are sitting in the middle of our row. Hey man, you're in our seats! Guy, there are a bunch of empty seats, sit somewhere else! Me pointing at a large group of disabled people and accompanying support staff, this entire row is mine. Guy, I'm not moving. Me, dude, don't be a jerk, just move. Guy, don't you dare use that kind of language in front of my daughter. Me, if you don't want to be called a jerk in front of your daughter, don't act like a ducking jerk in front of your daughter. At this point, an usher comes over to see what the problem is. I explain, he shakes his head at this dude and upgrades all of our seats. Screw that guy. Wow, so in the end, the beggar still didn't have to move. On to the 5th story shared by u/I fall up the stairs a lot. Why can't I claim one of your kids? You're so selfish. This just happened and I'm floored. I've been friends with this girl Butthole for years. She had a troubled childhood and I'm always trying to justify her BS. She is a mess, and I've seen her be a CB before, but this is a new low. I have 3 kids, but my oldest stays with his dad. My husband and I split up recently, and I've been staying at my mom's with my kids. Butthole also has 2 kids, but they lived in a different state since 2018. Butthole won't get a job, pawns her kids off on any and everyone. Her daughter lived with me for 3 months a couple of years ago and disappears regularly. Her baby daddy had a really good job, and Butthole has never had to lift a finger. We're close enough that I know she expects around $9,000 every year from the father from her kids. He usually gives her his whole tax returns, no question asked. Oh, and they have been split up for 4 years now, and last year he moved with the kids for even a better job. He even offered Butthole to go with them, but she chose to stay with her boyfriend. So here comes the CB part. She called me around 1 AM crying. She said that she just talked to her baby daddy and she doesn't know what to do because he's not able to give her any money this year. I say that I'm sorry to hear that. She then lays it on me, thick. I was wondering if I could claim one of your kids, Butthole. Me, completely speechless. You're joking, right? Me? Her getting irritated. I'm serious, clumsy. You can still claim the other. I literally laughed, called her stupid, hung up, and then texted her saying that she was an idiot. Number 1, I'm married. Number 2, it's illegal. Number 3, you have no income. I mean, common sense. I'm at loss for words. Sorry for the length. I feel better now getting all that out, lol. Clarification. When I say that she wanted to claim one of my kids, I mean as dependent for her federal tax return. TLDR, my friend wanted to claim one of my kids on her non-existent taxes. The beggar was like, I mean you have 3, so you have enough to spare. On to the 6th story shared by you/ZoridGen75. You're a welder, right? I am a certified welder, and I run my own welding and fabrication shop. CB I went to high school with messages me on Facebook, the first contact I've had with them in around 8 years. You're a welder, right? I bought aluminum airboat hull as a kid and I needed it welded together. Okay, give me the dimensions or photos so I can give you a quote. A quote? What do you mean? I work for money, not charity. If you want this done, you have to pay me for my labor and materials. That's some shifty crap, man. I thought we were boys. I want this thing on the water by Friday. I'll drop the parts off with a case of beer. Cool? Not even close. We're not even friends and I don't drink. You want me to spend 30 hours of my labor, 2 argon cylinders, 100 aluminum filler rods, and my whole shop space to do you a favor? $85 per hour. Whoa, screw you! You think you're some kind of professional welder or some crap? I weld. It is my profession, so yes, exactly. He even got pissed enough to leave me a bad review on Google. The nerve of some people. Even if you were friends, that is a huge favor to ask for just a case of beer. Not to mention first contact in 8 freaking years? No thank you. On to the 7th story shared by you/Missouri. Beggar begs and steals her own revenge. Years ago, I worked at a small real estate office on a very busy corner. We got a lot of actual beggars and many were choosing beggars. One morning, I come in and get my morning activities done, and I notice that a lot of our plants are drooping. I figured that I'd water them while taking a break. Since the secretary usually does this, I asked the secretary if she has a pitcher she usually uses. She tells me this day, I think it was a Friday, is when she feeds the plant. She tells me to take a super heaping big scoop of plant food and dissolve it. Pour a little in each plant and then come back and water the plants. Okay, so I put a huge scoop in my empty Dunkin' Donuts coffee cup because I don't see a pitcher or bucket or anything substantial. I assume you already see where this is going. I stir it and it's kinda thick and blue. I bring it to the secretary's desk. She starts laughing and says that she dissolves it in a pitcher. She tells me there the pitcher is. She puts a cover on the Dunkin's cup and starts swirling it. This gets really contrived, so I'll cut to the chase. I get the pitcher of water, and while I was in the kitchen, I made up and bring the regular mugs of coffee up front of us. We're chatting when CB walks in. CB asks for money, so we say no. We get the usual, you rich real estate brokers are cheap buttholes. And finally she sees the Dunkin' Donuts cup. She asks if we can at least give her a couple of dollars for a cup of Dunkins, so we say no. She asks if we can give her a mug of coffee. We say no. I'm not giving anything to someone who just called me a cheap butthole. She says, fine, I'll take this, and snatches the Dunkin' cup from the secretary's hand. She runs out saying something we didn't understand because we're in shock and about to erupt with laughter. And now comes the self-revenge twofold, almost three. We watch through the wall of glass windows as she takes a big old healthy swing Miracle Grow and realizes that she got a mouthful of chemicals. She doubles over and spit it all out, revenge 1. She then throws the cup into traffic and hits a squad car. Cop immediately slams on his brake and jumps out. She's coughing, spitting, and hacking and pointing at us. The cop comes in with her and says that she's claiming we deliberately gave her poisoned coffee. We explain the situation and he asks if we'd like to have her arrested for stealing our plant food. He's on the verge of laughing. We are already giggling since we know we're off the hook. The lady's blazing with anger, embarrassment, and fear. We say not to arrest her since she punished herself for her stupidity. The cop then wrote her a ticket for $500 for littering. Revenge 3 would have been us having her arrested, and a possible fourth revenge could have been a battery charge. Maybe a cop and lawyer can back me up here, maybe not. But this cop said that assaulting a vehicle that a police officer is in can be construed as a battery against the officer. He kept threatening her with a battery charge against him when she started getting loud or being a tramp. Not sure if that's true about battery, but it certainly kept her in line as he started out what happened. Also, I almost forgot that one of the cop's funniest comments about the cup. Somewhere along the lines of, he mentioned the battery against an officer. And she said, it was just a cup. He paused and almost comically responded, only a few minutes ago, it was a cup of poison these people tried to kill you with? So, you threw a cup of poison at me that exploded all over my rig. How is that not an attempt to harm? I love how the cop used CB words against her. He actually tried to understand the flawed logic inside the CB's head. On to the 8th story shared by /Leanne Melzo. I thought we were bros. I recently got tattooed by my childhood and current best friend, a very well-established artist in my city. Upon seeing my tattoo, my cousin immediately said he wanted to get one as well and reached out to my buddy to make an appointment. Everything was going well until the hourly rate came up, which my friend had already knocked off by $50 per hour from his regular rate, despite the two of them being casual acquaintances at best. My cousin immediately goes, but you charged Leanne Maslow and I thought we were boys. I was so pissed off when he said that. Then I replied, are you really though? And he's been incredibly butthurt ever since. Now my cousin thinks I'm a jerk, and my best friend knows my cousin is a jerk. If you say you support your friend's business, please support their business with your wallet. It's a huge back piece, the saving will likely exceed $1,000. But somehow that's not enough, because I thought we were bros. Well, CBs are always your best friends when they needed a favor or discount. On to the final story shared by /Sernando138. 50 cents wings does not mean the whole menu is discounted. I decided to run a 50 cents wing night to try and drum up some cold Monday business tonight. A woman came in saying that she saw my post about the wing deal. She then said that she does not like wings and wants nachos instead, but insisted on paying half price to match the discounted wings. I said no. She was upset, but I could not have cared less. She then began asking what she could get half price. I said, wings. She called me a butthole, and I asked her to leave. I see a nasty Yelp review in my near future. But wait, I can't believe there's someone who actually hates wings. She doesn't like chicken wings? Super cheap, 50 cents hot delicious wings? Can you believe that? That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.